Today, we're going to get into the 7 reasons why it is so crucial to tell someone about your secret affair. Now, you may be like, actually, if you're anything like I was when I was in the situation, if you would be hearing me right now, you might be like, Kate, there is just no way. Like, I wouldn't even entertain this idea. There is no way I am ever going to tell someone about this. Like, no, I can't even comprehend it myself. How could I ever tell someone about this? You could be thinking, I'm literally going to take this to my deathbed and it will die with me as a secret at my grave, but there is no way I'm going to tell someone about it. Or you could be contemplating telling someone about it, but literally so petrified, and you may have been sitting on the fence between, do I tell someone, don't I tell someone, and the fear and the confrontation that you have to face in order to get the words out of your mouth of the reality that you're living. The truth is, when we share these feelings that are going on inside of us, actually vocalize them, and then it becomes true. Right now, it's all in your head. Yes, it's a physical reality, but when you actually vocalize them, it becomes like, oh my God, this is actually happening. This is a truth that is going on in my life. So it can be scary. And so today we're going to cover the 7 reasons why it's crucial to tell someone about what you're going through, so you can lift the burden off your shoulders and be able to navigate it not alone, but with someone. And if you're not ready to do that right now, we're also going to discuss other ways of going through this when you're not ready to tell someone, because the reality is we're all at different phases in our life and we all experience this experience differently. So if you don't feel ready to tell someone, then I will also go at the end of the video how to deal with it alone and without voicing it to someone. So the 7 points that we're going to cover are the impact of secrecy on your personal life, how secrets kill your freedom, why you may be keeping your affair or double life a secret. So there's so many different factors that come into why we don't want to tell someone about this. Obviously, a lot may feel logical, but we're going to go into them so that you have a deeper understanding as why you're holding this and why you can't face telling someone. We're going to go through nothing has meaning except the meaning we give it. And the meaning that you give this situation will ultimately impact the decisions that you make throughout this journey. So we're going to go on to that. Number 5 is why letting the burden of carrying this alone off your shoulders is the first vital step in freeing yourself through what you're going through. The next one is why you shouldn't keep these problems to yourself. And number 7 is finding the right person to talk to. Ultimately, we have networks and friends and families and different people to talk to, but you may be feeling like, the last thing I want to be telling them is what I'm actually going through. So who do I actually turn to? And the last one is what I mentioned before, is the other ways to deal with your feelings without talking to someone. If you don't feel ready for that yet, then we're going to cover how to deal with it without actually voicing it aloud and talking to someone. So how to go through it alone. We're going to go through those 7 factors. Let's dive in right now to the impact a secret has on your personal life. Essentially, secrecy means that we are going through whatever we're keeping a secret alone. So that essentially equals isolation. And if we're just going to take a step back out of an affair situation and go through any challenges that we're going through in our life, ultimately, when you are going through your hardest challenges, and by all means right now, I'm sure this is one of your hardest challenges to face, when we are going through our hardest challenges, we want people to connect with, to get us through, to support us. Ultimately, we are humans, dependent on people to thrive. And when we're going through our deepest challenges, that's when our friends, our family are crucial to lean on, because when we don't have the emotional capabilities to deal with what we're going through, we can essentially lean on them to support when they have the emotional capacity that we don't have. It makes sense that when we are going through a breakup with a boyfriend or going through a hard time, like a death in the family, it makes sense that we have this support system to connect, to talk to go through our feelings with, in order to take that burden, that weight off just going through it alone. Now, back into the fact that you are living a double life, and most likely no one knows about this. If not, a couple of your best friends know about this, or your sibling or something, but ultimately you're going through this alone, and that means isolation. So that means in order to deal with your challenges, you are recycling the thoughts in your head yourself without actually verbalizing them, hearing yourself talk about it, which can also help you internalize what you're going through, but also get the perspectives of other people's opinions, perspectives and ideas, thoughts and opinions that you may not be seeing yourself. So it can sound logical. It can sound like, yes, that's so true. It does make sense that telling someone about what you're going through can be a really good way to just get it off your chest. If you're going through a breakup, say, and you can just cry to a friend, you can tell people about what you're going through, you can tell people about the memories that you had that impacted your feelings today. When you're going through this alone, when you have a flashback of some beautiful memories, or when you experience something with your affair partner today and you don't know how to process it, instead of calling up your best friend and talking about it with someone, you instead go to your bedroom, go to your mobile phone and lie down in front of the TV or do something that is not proactive in helping you get through what you're going through. Number one is secrecy equals isolation. Secrecy means that instead of having the support system of people around you, you're instead dealing with everything alone. And that can be really hard. Yes, you have the support of your affair partner, but ultimately, if they are someone that is super supportive of you, then that's fantastic, but they're still the person that you're going through the challenge with. So they still have the perspective that you have, which is an emotional perspective. We want to get the perspective that is not from people that are not emotionally involved in your story. When we become emotionally involved in this situation, we make decisions differently. Telling people is extremely beneficial in regards to these people aren't emotionally involved with what you're going through. So they can see things, different perspectives that you may have not thought of, simply because you are bogged down in the emotion of it, and so is your affair partner. Now, this is an extremely crucial factor to note. Again, we're going to deal with how to actually tell someone when you don't want to tell anyone. We're just at the moment highlighting why it is important to seek help, to tell a best friend, to tell a counselor, to tell a coach, to tell someone, so that you yourself are not going through it alone. I just want to add in there, strength comes in numbers. So as you may have heard the thing, many hands make light work. When we are in teams working together, everything becomes more effortless. When we have the emotional capacity of a whole group of people, then problem solving becomes easier. Now, I'm talking on a whole. I'm talking on a broad perspective, not an affair perspective right now. So we know that it becomes easier when we together come together as a tribe. So in your affair situation, yes, you're not going to come together as a tribe and tell the whole world. No, but what I'm saying is when we come together as a team, it becomes a lot easier to process what we're going through. So you want to create your own team. Your own team might just be one other person to talk to, but ultimately the impact that it can have on your life, if you do have someone to converse with when you are going through these challenges, can be so healthy for you. It's not healthy going home and trying to process the whole day by yourself without having your best friend to talk to, because simply you are too afraid to face up to the fact of what you're going through. They are very important factors to think of. Secrecy essentially equals isolation. So if you're going through this, it can become a lot harder when you're doing it all alone. Okay, let's go on to number 2 now. Okay, number 2 is secrecy kills your freedom. And what I'm talking about here is the unhealthy secrets. Unhealthy secrets are the ones that rent so much space in your mind, your body. Every day you're circulating these thoughts in your mind, trying to solve them in your head, and that's ultimately taking you away from being present in your daily life, from being present with people, from enjoying each experience, simply because you are dealing with this secret by yourself, and ultimately it is renting so much space in your mind. We want to be getting energy off our chest. Any energy that remains stored in our body creates stress and creates disease. So you will feel a bucket load of emotions that you don't know how to process. You may be processing the secret in regards to getting depressed, getting tired, getting illness, getting sick, all these, getting anxiety. All these things are a factor of you not being able to let the burden of a secret off your chest, and instead it is creating toxicity in your body. It's an energetic weight that is weighing you down. So essentially, if you have these secrets, that not just an affair secret, but any experience in your life, if you have not cleared it emotionally, it is weighing down on you. And one thing I'd link down below, which I'll link it in the description below, is the importance of unkinking our hose, which is called the importance of getting emotional baggage off our chest. And I'll link it below, because essentially all these energetic drains take us away from experiencing life to our fullest. So secrets take away your freedom. And the more that you can get these secrets off your chest and heal from the shame, from the guilt, from the fear that comes with it, all that shame, guilt, fear that is locked up inside of you gets released and gets freed, and it no longer has to keep circulating energy inside of you, causing you to feel depressed, anxiety, sickness. You might have suicidal thoughts. All these things are renting so much space in your body, and it's time to let it off our chest. So number 2, the importance of telling someone can mean that instead of it being something that we're carrying alone, just voicing it can create such an energetic weight off our shoulders. So number 3 is why we keep these secrets a secret. What stops us from wanting to tell people about what we're going through? So number 1 is because we fear that by sharing the truth, we will hurt the family that we're in an affair with. We could break apart a family. I know the other women in an affair, the mistress, who, whatever you may label yourself as, they're often called the family wreckers, and just coming in there to ruin a family. And the truth is that label has been put on by women that have been hurt by affairs, and it makes sense, and it's totally natural. But the truth is that you're not in it as a family wrecker. And when we experience these beliefs that I am literally a family breaker, I have done this, I have caused this, it stops us from wanting to speak to someone about it because of the shame that we hold on ourselves for going through this. So that's number 1. Number 2 is that we violated our own values, our own standards. And when we violate our own standards, we also we feel that we're going to violate the trust, the respect that families and friends has for us. So if we're going to tell someone, we are essentially going to lose trust and respect from the people that we respect and value the most. And so that can be the biggest strip, that can strip so much away from us that we may not want to lose. Definitely don't want to lose. Sorry, not may not. You don't want to lose people losing trust and respect from you. So if you fear that you're going to lose trust and respect in your identity, then of course you're going to not want to tell anyone about what you're going through. So number 3 is that you could fear that your friends and family will think less of you. But essentially, if you have the blanket belief, or had the blanket belief before you got into this situation, that affairs are bad, they're wrong, how could someone do that? If you had that belief, then it's natural for you to fear what other people are going to think, because it's very common for people to have the belief that affairs are bad. How could you possibly do that? You are wrong, you are selfish, all these things. And the truth is, yes, your family, your friends could think less of you. Someone that you are so close with may not be able to get and understand you in the way that you want to be understood through this situation. It's totally natural, and we have to take a step into their shoes and understand why they could believe that. They could have had a betrayal in their family growing up. Their mum could have been cheated on multiple times and experienced so much pain, and your friends or family witnessed that as a child. Or they too could have been betrayed themselves in their relationship. So they could have this massive wound, and hurt people. When they have been hurt, they're going to come through and look at your situation through their lens of their experience. So it's totally natural if you fear that they're going to lose respect for you. Maybe they will. Maybe it's true that they have been hurt by betrayal, by infidelity, and by affairs, and so they may not be able to see the situation through your eyes and be able to fully get and understand your experience. That is completely natural, and instead of wanting them to fully get you, instead we need to get them. We need to understand it. We need to understand that yes, they too, as a child, could have experienced the most unbearable pain watching their mother and father go through such challenges, and to see that you have put yourself into a situation that is kind of recreating that in a family, they could judge that. And ultimately, no one is going to fully know your experience like you do. And instead of wanting other people to fully get you, we got to dismiss and understand that their beliefs have been crafted around their experience. And that is perfectly okay. Their beliefs are perfectly natural. We don't need to have everyone get our situation. Instead, we need to forgive ourselves for our situation instead of have them forgive us. So that is number 3. Number 4 literally links back really well to number 3, and that is the fear of loss, the fear of losing people. So if you're going to tell your best friend, and she has had so much dramas and challenges with infidelity in her family or in her relationship, she could judge that experience and cut you off, and you could fear losing that. And the truth is, anyone that is a true friend is going to know who you are at your core, and going to understand that there's been different things, motivating factors that have caused you to end up in such a situation, and they will get you. But if they don't, that is okay. And the fear of losing those friends can be so big, but it can completely stop us from getting the help that we need. We don't need to tell our family and friends. We can speak to someone that is completely removed from the situation, and actually, in actual fact, that is probably the best way to go about it, so that no one has their own judgments and opinions. It's better just to connect with someone that's completely outside of your circle, so that you don't have fear in crafting the right story to the person that you're talking to. Instead, you can just tell someone straight how it is without fearing, because they are not connected to your circles. So that can be a benefit of telling someone that isn't in your circles. But yeah, one of the massive things that we do fear is the fear of losing people in our life for telling someone. The reality is, this situation has happened for a reason. And in order for true change to happen, things break down. In order for businesses to thrive, businesses often go bankrupt first. In order for relationships to thrive, going to squeeze in here and offer some better words than the words that I used in the video. But essentially, relationships often go through challenging times, and that's what makes them go stronger. So relationships can experience infidelity, and it will often either make them stronger as a couple, or will create or bring change that needs to happen regardless to the surface. When things are easy, we don't change things. But when things get difficult, that's when we take a clear look at our life. That will go into number 5. Let's just seep right into number 5. Is it's not about the situation, it's about how we look at it. So if we're looking at it from the factors, sometimes things need to burn in order to thrive, and this situation has happened for a reason, then we don't beat ourselves up as much. But if we have the perspective of, I am a family wrecker, I am someone that you could never trust, I am someone that people are never going to feel safe around anymore with their partners because I must sleep around with men, when truly at your core, you know that's not someone that you are. But when we have these beliefs that are so blanket and literally cover us off from any other opportunity of looking at it a different way, we go through life without being able to problem solve, simply because we're going through life with tunnel vision goggles on, that we can't see any other alternative way of looking at it. If we look at it as a situation that, well, maybe it needed to happen. Maybe it needed to happen in the family so that the family could actually take a true look at what is going on in their relationship and create change that needed to happen. Sometimes also in yourself. What is the gift that this has brought you? Where are you putting down your boundaries or playing small in order to get something that is not truly fulfilling, in order to settle for 20% instead of 100% in a relationship? There's so many different factors that this could be coming into your life as a gift, not a curse. So the way we look at this situation is vital for us to create change. If we create meaning that telling someone is literally going to ruin our life, then we're not going to tell anyone. Of course we're not. We're going to carry it to our deathbed, and honestly, it is going to weigh you down your whole life. And although time can heal things, ultimately it's still living in your body somewhere. So if we can create new meaning that creates a different way for you to show up in your life and through this experience, who do I get to be from this experience? What has this experience caused me, given me? Why is it showing up in my life right now? What is it here to teach me? What do I get to learn from this experience? When we start asking ourselves these questions, we can be proactive instead of hiding from this challenging situation that we're going through. We can instead step into our truest potential and take the action that we know we're capable of to create the change that we know we're worthy of. Number 6 is fear and rejection. So essentially, we are animals at our core. We're all animals, and if we get rejected in the animal kingdom, that essentially means that we are getting pushed out of our tribe. If we get pushed out of our tribe, if you imagine lions and you're a male lion that gets pushed out of your tribe, you do not survive. You get killed, eaten, skinny. You don't have your tribe to thrive on. So that is our animal needs at our core, and we still as humans run from our animal first before we run from our spiritual needs. And so at our core, we have this innate feeling that we want to be loved, and if we don't feel loved, then we feel ultimately rejected. And if we feel rejected, we ultimately think that we aren't going to survive in life. It's a survival need. We want to survive, and in order to survive, we want to feel loved. If you're going to share what you're going through with your best friend and you do fear that rejection, ultimately that means you're not good enough. You're not loved. Truthfully, it doesn't mean that, but our animal core, the first feeling that we do feel is that we're not enough, that we're not loved. And so we fear this, but ultimately these fears cannot be changed. We all have fears of money fears, of poverty, of death, of rejection. All these fears are true. But if we focus on the fear, then we cannot truly thrive. If we focus on death as a fear, then what are we going to be enjoying living? How are we going to enjoy living? So the truth is, yes, fear of rejection is a legitimate fear, and it is a completely legitimate fear for what you're going through, but we've got to talk to that fear inside of us and ask us, yes, I see you, I feel you, I feel that you don't want to be rejected, but ultimately, what action do I need to take in order to create the change that I know I'm worthy of? And sometimes we've got to confront that fear of rejection and actually take the leap so that we can create the change that we know is in front of us if we want to take the leap. Again, look into these fears. These fears are totally natural. Again, they're totally our animal, that in our animal core, but what we want to do is we want to ask ourselves, do I want to run from that fear, operate from that fear, or do I want to operate from my higher self? And which one is going to bring the best result in my life? It's easy to stay in fear. It's easy to slink back down into your chair, into your bed, whatever it is. It's easy to just hide in front of a screen, but it's not going to create the change that you know you need to change in your life. So yes, this situation that you're going through is ultimately calling forward a part of yourself that you have not entered yet. And it is freaking scary, to say the least. But I know you're capable of it within inside yourself. I truly do know you're capable of it inside yourself. So it's time to ask yourself, am I going to operate from that fear, or am I going to operate from my higher self and say, fuck it, I'm good. No matter how scary this is, I am worth it and I can do this. So the next one we're going to talk about is why it is vital for you to tell someone in order for you to create the change. So you could easily not tell someone. That's the easy option. But the truth is, one of the things that I want to talk about here is how important it is for women to talk and share their feelings. Women, at the end of the day, they collect all these feelings throughout the day. They collect them. They're collecting feelings throughout the day from all the experiences that they have had in their life and in their day. And at the end of the day, they just want to offload it. They want to share. They want to talk about it. They want to process everything out loud. Men, on the other hand, they like to process things internally. So the stats on how many words women speak a day versus men, women are at 20,000 a day, men are at 7,000. So that means women speak a whole 13,000 more words a day than men. And if you're going through living this secret life alone and you're not really feeling like you can talk to someone, or you may have a best friend that you're talking to, but you may feel like you're leaning on them too much. Sometimes it can feel like when you have one best friend to talk about your challenges with, sometimes you're like, I think I've exhausted that topic in our friendship right now and I need to back off. The reason why it's so beneficial to talk to someone is because when we are processing this alone, it's more natural for men to want to process things alone. And I'm not saying that processing it alone is good for men, but women truly need to process things out loud in order to free themselves and actually understand what they're going through. So it is vital. And if we are constantly thinking about these things in our head ourselves, we rethink the same thoughts every single day. 95% of the thoughts that we think are just recycled from yesterday. So if we are recycling the same thoughts every day and not actually getting different perspectives from other people, then we lose the ability to think rationally and objectively about what we're actually going through. So we want to consider that when we are going through this experience. You are going through an extremely significant emotional experience right now, and it is literally sucking every bit of your energy towards this one thing instead of multiple things in your life. So if you're going through this alone, then you lose that ability to think rationally, to think objectively about this situation. So if you tell someone about it, it can be extremely beneficial for them to see perspectives that you are not seeing yourself, and for you to go, I didn't realize that was how I was operating and that's how I was processing what I'm going through. So it can be so vital to just have those girlfriends, have those people to talk to, have your therapist, so that you can pitch and catch all these feelings that you're processing instead of just keeping them locked up inside of yourself. Before I go on to the last one, I want to go on to the second last one, which I didn't mention, which is why it's vital to talk to someone about your challenges. Essentially, if you're going through this alone, you're bringing all this tension from every experience, emotional tension from all the experiences that you're experiencing throughout this relationship, and you're going through it, processing it alone. So having someone to talk to can mean that you can see the situation more clearly. You can see perspectives that you may have not actually considered. Sometimes you can feel powerless to create change. And when you have the emotional support of someone else with you, then you can become stronger. If you're someone that has wanted to leave this situation and keep going back to the situation, and you're wondering, why do I keep saying no more, never again, this has got to stop, yet you find yourself still in this situation, that's where it is vital to get someone to talk to so that you can have that support and that strength. Strength comes in numbers, remember. So if you have someone that you can lean on, you will become so much emotionally stronger than you did if you just had yourself. So really take that into consideration. Yes, it can become so fearful to tell someone about this, but it will make you so much stronger in being able to have the ability to process what you're going through, to talk about what you're going through, and to take action on seeking the change that you want. Whatever your change may be that you want, it's going to be so much easier if you have someone to support you on that journey with you. I just want to quickly talk on choosing the right person. You want to choose someone, again, it is, your friends ultimately do have your back. If you have true amazing friends, ask yourself, how would I deal with the situation if they came to me with that kind of situation and I had never experienced that before? How would you deal with it? How would you see them? So maybe your best friend does have your back and you just fear bringing up this crazy situation, this crazy scenario. You may not have your best friend. Your best friend may be the person that's in this relationship, and it could be quite messy. So in that regard, I do truly recommend speaking to someone that is completely removed from all the people that are in this situation, from your family, from your friends, from your workplace, all these situations, and actually talk to someone that's completely removed, that can have a bird's eye view on the situation without being emotionally tied into the story. So that can be so beneficial. Look into, there's different places to go. You can look at to counselors, to talk therapy, to different types of therapy, psychologists, and coaches. They're all ultimately going to bring different results. So look into what feels most aligned to you. Whenever I'm talking to my clients or having a call with a potential client, I make sure that they make the decision from their heart and from their gut on what feels most aligned for you. So do the research into different people and see who you feel safest with. The person that you're ultimately going to feel safest with and that you can open up to is going to mean that you can be transparent and they can ultimately help you with everything that you put onto the table. If you choose a counselor or a therapist that you don't feel comfortable sharing everything, and you feel like, I don't know, I just can't share everything with them, and sometimes I feel like I'm not fully open and fully vulnerable, then it's a red flag. You want to choose someone where you feel so comfortable with, so that you can share everything that you're going through as it comes up. So again, listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, listen to your heart, and choose someone that you feel comfortable with talking about. Okay, now we are on to the last one. The last one is, if you don't feel comfortable or confident about talking to someone, that's okay. It truly is okay, and it's a journey. You're going to go through different phases and experiences of where you're at in this journey. And if you truly do not feel like there is no way I could talk to someone about this right now, then that's fully okay. Now what we want to do is we want to understand, how can I process this myself and really go through it in the same way that it would have a similar effect as talking to someone aloud. The first thing that I want to suggest is getting outside of your environment. Again, if you're going through this with your partner, with your affair partner, you're going to be talking to your affair partner about all your challenges, and sometimes that isn't helpful. Although you might love, respect, adore them, whatever it is, and be the closest in talking connection with that person as opposed to anyone else, it's you guys are still tied in it together. So it's important to walk away, step away from the experience so that you can get your own thoughts and ideas that aren't through him and through your emotions in that situation. So in order to do this, I recommend getting outside, literally, physically getting outside of your experience. So if it's your workplace or if you're in a certain town, leave. At the moment, in this time of the world, you can't actually go on holidays or go traveling, but you can still go hiking. If you can go hiking up a mountain or go to the beach or go for a walk or get outside of your environment, if you can go away for a night to a different bed, different location, it brings a whole new level of ideas and inspiration. So if you can get outside of your natural place, then this can be very helpful. The reason why this is so helpful is ultimately when we walk into our house and we see our partner, we see our workplace, whatever it is, all these things that we see create memories from the day before. And those memories, say we see the fridge, it reminds us about different experiences. Say we see the kitchen table or the walls, the house holds an energy. And that energy helps us to recycle the same thoughts that we had yesterday while we were in that house. So when we get outside of our environment, it opens us up to our own creative intelligence. It opens us up to our own intuition. It opens us up to new thoughts, new ideas, and that can be vital in you helping you get the clarity that you need. So if that's going for a hike, going for a swim, getting away into a different bed, like going on a holiday, it can be so helpful. So that is one tip. The other tip that I would use is music. Music is vibration. So if you're listening to low vibrations, it can help you get into a low energetic frequency. If you listen to high vibrations and uplifting music, it can help you get into an uplifting state. If you don't feel like the uplifting music right now because you are in a low vibration, slowly build it up and it will help you get into the higher vibration. So if you can dance, sing, do all those things that help you get into moving and up-leveling your vibration, that can help you feel stronger, more powerful, and get you out of that powerless feeling that you might be, that state that you may be in. The next one is journaling. Journaling is so powerful. Write down all your feelings. When you're going back on these journals, it can help you see patterns around what you're experiencing, and that can really bring a lot of clarity. So journaling is so powerful. The next one is videos. You have so much resources online, it's crazy. We have access to the very best wisdom, knowledge, answers to our questions. It's all available to us. Now it's time to access it. So if you don't want to talk to someone about it, there is different ways that you can research it. If you're listening to my video, surely you're okay with watching videos that are labeled towards affairs. But if you are watching this and you hell no don't want to watch it in the future, watch my content in the future because you fear being seen watching this kind of content, then look up content about breakups or relationships or all these situations that are okay to search in everyday life. And they are my tips today around secrecy and why it is important to share a secret. I hope it helps. I will link those videos in the description. And if you have any questions, write them below, or you can email them to me and I'll create a video or support you on your journey. I wish you the very best. It can be extremely challenging going through this situation alone, but ultimately, it will make you so much stronger in life. And I can't wait to see that woman inside of you go from stuck to thriving. So anyway, I leave you with that one. I hope it helps. I hope you have an amazing day. Bye for now.